Welcome back, everybody, to ZB's Horsepower Talk. As always, I'm ZB, Zach Brown, and joining with me, as always, is former 410 Sprint Car crew chief and mechanic, my dad, Jeff Brown. Make sure you guys follow, like, subscribe on TikTok, Facebook, Spotify, and on YouTube, and check out all of the stuff that we have, all the content we have. A lot to get into. It is Daytona 500 week, the biggest week in all of motorsports, arguably. But it is the Great American Race. Excited to kick off NASCAR season after the Clash was an absolute disaster. So we're going to segue into that, then talk about Volusia. Two completely different races, entertainment wise specifically. So they raced the Clash in the middle of the week, like we suspected last week, and it was you can nickname it the crash. They crashed every other lap, and it was absolutely terrible. They had freezing rain in the middle of it, so they had to red flag that until then change to wet weather tires. They had that for the rest of the race. It was a complete catastrophic failure. This is now. I thought it was cool to race at Bowman Gray. You just take it back to Daytona at this point. Really happy for Ryan Preece and RFK Racing, especially with everything they've had to go through this offseason. But no, the Clash just needs to go back to Daytona. That was terrible.
Yeah, that track is just entirely too small for that type of race car. That just doesn't work. And honestly, I would just get rid of it, because Daytona, you're just going to see 50 laps of follow the leader. They're not going to race because they're really not going to want to crash when you're at Daytona. And then NASCAR, what happened? They got greedy. They wanted to charge you $100 a ticket to go see the Clash and maybe qualifying. And I don't know. It's completely unnecessary, in my opinion. But, so we'll see. A quarter mile is just way too small, especially for 24 cars. Maybe if you had 15 cars, like pole winners or something like that, there's just no room to.
Well, if it proved anything, at the very least, it shows that Ryan Preece knows how to race those small tracks. And maybe it is a little bit momentum shifter for him and gives him some positive outlook for this year. I think RFK is going to have a solid year. Based on what I was saying, with when there's things that happen in the off season, it just something always occurs, and it makes everybody step up their game. From people in the garage all the way up to the drivers and even more. It's just like some divine power always seems to intervene, and that might have been a shout out to Greg Biffle for Roush winning at the Clash. So good for Ryan Preece. It's his first trip in victory lane. It wasn't an official points race, but his first trip in victory lane in the Cup Series. Obviously looking for his first points paying race, but that is a step up. One thing I do want to mention that I did at least see at the Clash, the Trackhouse cars looked pretty solid, and even Connor Zilic was battling up at the top. Everybody at some point was racing in the top 5 because everybody crashed, but I was mainly looking at how these cars were handling, how they were maneuvering through the field. I was very impressed with SVG going through it. I think he had a solid race. And I didn't really hear much from Chastain. It was a very quiet race for Chastain, but SVG and Zilic, I was really paying attention to see how they were going to do it. And SVG led laps. Zilic was racing in top 5. I mean, Zilic is going to win Rookie of the Year this year. That's not even going to be a question. He's going to make the playoffs. We both have him in the chase. Well, it's the chase. I think we both have him in the chase. He's going to get a couple wins. He's just that good of a driver. It'll be interesting to see him battle SVG at the road courses. That'll be actually pretty cool to see.
I'm going to say his wins do not come on a road course.
I'm not saying they will, but I think he and SVG will have some good battles.
Oh, they're clearly going to be the class of the field on the road course. I mean, they proved that last year in the Xfinity Series, or whatever the hell it's called now, the Riley Series.
Actually,
it's back to Grand National, I think, which is cool. That for old guys like me, that's what we used to call it.
It's gonna take some getting you to say that. It doesn't really roll off the tongue really well, the O'Reilly Series. But, O'Reilly Series
in there.
For some reason, O'Reilly Series sounds like it should be like a modified series or something. I don't know. discuss Volusia, and then we're going to preview Daytona 500. We were going to have a guest on this week, but scheduling purposes, we're having us, so you're stuck with us, guys. Sorry, but this is probably our most in depth that we will get into for a season because there's a lot to go over and the preview for Daytona 500, and we kind of give a little quick overview for the year as it comes. Volusia, amazing races,
Yeah.
so many good races, completely different than the Clash. So glad that we got to see some good racing this past week. Volusia was fantastic. The crowd looked really good too. Weather worked out great towards the end of the week. It was mild temperatures in the low 70s,
Milder.
high 60s. It was, well, for you it's cold, but it was perfect conditions for racing. And person I was really impressed with the entire weekend who took the Golden Gator home was Anthony Macri.
Yeah. Yeah, that was great racing. If you have not, I'm going to guess a lot of our viewers are probably NASCAR fans. If you have not watched World of Outlaw or High Limit Sprint Car Racing, check out the replays on YouTube. Just look for World of Outlaws. Those races were freaking great races. You got 25 or 30 laps. It's just balls to the wall the whole time. Macri loses the lead with, I don't know, 2 to go, sticks a car in where it should not have fit or stuck, and both did. Unreal race.
I think it was a
Uh,
last lap pass. I think he
I
came
think
off
I think it was either
because he came
yeah, I
off.
think they were coming down for the one to go. I think
It was one to go. He lost the lead. He
he
Gravel
lost the lead
took
with 2 to go, and I think he
Gravel
got
took the
it back.
white. Anthony
Yeah.
Macri went low. Gravel went high. They split a lap car coming off a two, and Macri said, "Screw it, I'm sending it," and he did. And no one got hit somehow. Amazingly, uh, just incredible racing, and
And that track was nice. I mean, it had a top, it had a bottom, it
it
had a
almost.
middle.
I rarely see Volusia have a. They do so well at putting Volusia
They
together.
they said they brought in 600 trucks of Volusia's original clay over
Well,
the
it
off
paid
season
off.
and worked it in.
And once again, the talk of World of Outlaws is that Donnie Schatz is going to win a race if he can actually start in the top 10 because he
Yeah,
starts
I don't know
almost
why
dead.
he can't qualify. It's like they put a parachute
But
on him
he
or
was
something.
mowing people down through the field.
Yeah,
But Buddy Kofoid started, I think, last in the Golden Gator race because he won a race. I think he started nearly dead last in the final race of the
yeah,
week.
he started
And
way in the back,
it
20
ended up
something.
third, I believe, third or fourth. He
Yeah.
was in top five, and he was hauling. Just it was really really good race. I'm actually kind of surprised Larson didn't want to race a little bit at Volusia and get some sprint car racing under his belt before the year started for NASCAR, but might have some publicity tours to do since he is the defending champion in
Very
NASCAR.
possible. Especially with threat of how cold it was, and that's a California car. That's kind of a
Yeah,
long
uh,
way. But they are back beginning of March. Does Larson run then? Probably not.
yeah, it
But
just kind of all depends on all of that.
one
And
thing Anthony Macri said, and I don't know if anybody should take anything to this. He's like, yeah, I told my team if I won the big gator that we were going to call it a season. I'm like, what?
I
Okay,
don't.
that's kind of a. Is there plans going on that nobody knows about yet, or is it just heat of the moment, excitement, just kind of talking? That was
I,
that was kind of a weird statement.
I don't know. He gets a little awkward in the interviews, so it's kind of hard to decipher
Yeah,
exactly what he's trying to say. So I mean, we'll see here in a month when they go back to Volusia. That's going to be awesome again. Excited to see how if the track changes at all from the first month and into the second month. They've raced some USAC there. They've had some late model races. Some the dirt car series is there too. So there's a lot of racing on that surface.
yeah,
So seeing how that may affect it, I don't think dramatically. I think you'll still see some good races, but you get all that hype and excitement, and you want more outlaw racing, and they're all for a month.
yeah.
Uh, but they need to enjoy it now because after that it is balls to the wall. They go
For
week
sure.
week in and week out, and for basically through October, November. It's pretty much straight racing. So excited to see what this year brings in all the sprint car racing. I think High Limit actually starts in March, so likely you won't see Larson race in a bunch of that
Probably
stuff
not.
because that's when they kick off their stuff. Um, I think that does it for the recapping. The news coming out of NASCAR this week: Brad Keselowski is officially cleared to race. He's walking around like an old man right now with a cane.
Yeah.
He actually is getting around pretty well, considering he just broke his leg a month ago. Um, he has a little bit of a limp, but he seems to be doing all right. And really, they probably got some stabilizers in it and some braces whenever he sits down in the car, so it doesn't move. He's not going to move much in it. You can't really move in the car.
Yeah.
Denny Hamlin's proven that he can do it with torn ACLs, and many drivers have done it with broken bones and things. So the hardest thing would be if you broke your arm.
Well, yeah. Kyle Busch was saying, because he went through a similar thing. He said when he broke his leg, he said that wasn't near as bad as when he broke his ankle. He said, broke your leg. He said they put a rod in it, and he said you're up in a day and start walking around. He's like, you're not doing jumping jacks, but you can at least do. He said the ankle. He said everything's moving and all those little bones. There's not much you could do about it. So
Yeah, I mean, you're literally pressing the gas pedal with using
yeah,
all the ligaments and bones with that ankle. With the leg, you don't really use any of that stuff to use the press on the gas. So there's a lot of drivers looking for their first time Daytona 500 win, like veteran drivers. Obviously, you're going to have all the young drivers too, and we're going to give picks. No one could tell. No one. There's no. We would not be able to tell you who could win confidently because
no.
there has been so many upsets in the entire history of the Daytona 500 that nobody knows. I mean, Trevor Bayne won it one year. Austin Cindric won it in his first ever race. I mean, there's so many upsets that can happen. Kyle Busch still's never won. This will be his 21st try, I believe.
Yeah.
And Keselowski's never won. I don't even know if he's ever won a Daytona race. I know
I
he's
don't know, which
dominated.
is weird because he's one of the winningest,
I
speedway
mean,
racers.
that's not to say he doesn't race well at them. It's just it hasn't gone his way. Ryan Blaney's never won the Daytona 500. I mean, Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, and Alex Bowman. The only one in the Hendrick camp is Byron that won it. But then you got Denny, who's won it 3 times.
Yeah.
And you've got all those drivers looking for their first. So it'll be interesting for sure to see if there is a potential first time winner. Justin Allgaier has got the 40 car back in the field for Junior Motorsports. See if he will be able to make it. I'm pretty confident that he will. He might even just make it on just from qualifying.
Which,
Qualifying
speaking
night.
of that, qualifying is on today's Wednesday. Qualifying is on this evening.
Yeah, it actually might be going on as we're recording this.
Yep.
And then they have the duels, which is
Tomorrow.
always exciting. That they do actually put on pretty good shows for the duels. Well,
The
one
duels might be a better race than the 500.
usually one of the duels is good.
Yeah.
The other one's usually a snooze.
Usually one's very follow the leader, and the other one could be a crash fest. So.
Yeah, and it's hard to tell which one. Usually the first one's a little bit more aggressive. Then they see how they race and like, oh, maybe let's just back it down a little bit. Very rarely do you see defending champions win the Daytona 500. So Larson likely not going to win it anyways. If he does, I'll go absolutely berserk. Almost essentially what I did when Junior won the Daytona 500. That being said, I want to get your opinion. I've sent out on TikTok what people think the best Daytona 500 has been, and I'm not saying the most memorable, whatever. I'm just been saying what is the best Daytona 500. I already know what your answer is. So for you, what is the best Daytona 500?
Yeah, 1998 when Earnhardt won it. I can remember watching it, and I know we were down to the last pit stop, and I figured he needs to beat Jeff Gordon out of the pits. And when he did, I jumped up, was all excited, and coincidentally, the same day we had a candle burning on our fish tank, and the candle, we got so into the race we forgot about the candle, and it melted our fish tank lid.
And then they had the
that was just awesome, just seeing him and everybody lining up for him. Now, was that car completely legal? Yeah, probably not. but
He led he led every single lap in the Daytona 500 except the final one,
except for the last
and he
one.
finally did it.
Yeah. Which
Obviously, I don't.
Larry McReynolds was the crew chief that year. I think that was the first year they were paired together. So
And
Larry
I
won
mean,
it with.
you can go back and they play it a lot. And this is the 25th anniversary of Dale's death too, and so there's a lot of somber feelings too. There's gonna be a lot of moments of silence and everything that went on this past in the off season too.
Yeah.
There's lots of stuff to have some reflection on that at the track that they'll do. The I lost my train of thought right there. I don't remember that really. So this one I definitely neither one of us were alive for this, and but the reason and I've seen clips of it and I've seen highlights of it. You can find highlights in literally every single one of them. It's hard to really find much on this one because this one's so old. This was the very first Daytona 500, and I am putting that as the best because this is what the finish looked like, and this is what they went from racing on the beach to a super speedway, and Lee Petty had to wait 3 days to find out if he won or not because obviously it was a long time ago, and
Yeah, it wasn't instant pictures at the time.
there's the finish. It is this reminds you of Cars with Lightning McQueen with the three car. That doesn't happen. So we've seen photo finishes in NASCAR in the Daytona 500, and it's very rarely three that will fit. And now Atlanta has put on a couple of them that have been threes, but Daytona 500 you'll see like maybe two that are in photo finish. But this was legitimately a photo finish, and it took days to find out. And it was the first time they ever raced on this track, and basically propelled the Daytona 500 to its glory all throughout the entire. I think it's hard to argue that it's not the best one. Um, Obviously, neither one of us got to see it, but I think that just seeing what it did for the sport and just the finish it had, it was amazing. People say the Cale Yarborough one because there was a fight,
Yeah.
and that was not a good race. They were
That
leading.
that really put that was the first live race
Yeah,
ever
1979.
broadcast. So and that put the good old redneck boys. They're like, hell yeah, we're fighting, punching. So that was, that's what that really
That's and
put
that's and that's
NASCAR in the
and
spotlight.
and that's memorable. I just don't think it was actually the best one. And then they had one. They've talked about ones where Richard Petty came back and won. When Richard Petty won the Daytona 500s in general, all the ones he won by like a half a lap. I
Yeah.
mean, drafting wasn't as prominent of a thing as it is now, and they didn't really figure all that stuff out till later on. And when he won all of his, you could see it. It's just like, wow, that was terrible. And if there was the years of social media these days, they'd be like, well, that sucked. That was just an ass kicking. Nobody wants to see that. Um, and you can put Junior's Daytona 500 up there. I think another honorable mention is the Kevin Harvick Mark Martin photo finish one. That one was
Yeah,
really
that
good.
was definitely a heck of a finish. I was literally just thinking about that, and I was like, it was Mark Martin, and I was thinking, I thought it was Kevin Harvick, but yeah,
Yep,
that was a good one.
that one was definitely good too.
There's been a lot of maybe slightly surprising winners. We had Ricky Stenhouse, who's a good speedway racer. Michael McDowell won one. Austin Cindric gets his first race in the Cup Series, gets the Daytona 500. So I mean, it's a big race, and it can really propel your career from here on out. You're always known as a Daytona 500 winner.
Well, and they even classify that you're the Daytona 500 champion, and
Yeah,
that's how much this race means. It's the first race of the season. It's the biggest race of the season. Drivers have. I'm telling you right now, Kyle Busch. He doesn't care about winning a championship at this point in his career. He desperately will want to win a Daytona 500 before he
who's
retires.
been very close a few times
So many
the
times,
last couple of years.
and it just nothing has worked out in his favor. Like
Yeah,
when Ricky Stenhouse won, he had a shot to win. It just didn't work out. Wreck at the end.
yeah,
And shoot, lately the speedway races, Larson's looked pretty decent.
yeah.
Is he in either one of our fantasies? No.
Nope.
And there's a lot of drivers I'm not going to put in because
I put, like real favorites that are great speedway racers last year, and I ended up scoring 40 some points. So I got maybe a few more names that you don't think about so much in my fantasy, which we'll bring that up here in a little bit.
well, right before we give our fantasy lineups and our picks to win the race, I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
William Byron has won the last two Daytona 500s back to back. Has anybody ever won three in a row?
The only one I could think of that would have ever done it would have probably been Richard Petty.
He did not. No, everybody has won only two in a row.
Okay.
It gets to that third year, and nobody can get that third year in a row. Yarborough, I think, won back to back at some point. Um, I'm going through them right now. So Richard Petty won. So he was close to winning four in a row. So he won in 71. AJ Foyt won in 72. Then Petty won in 73 and 74.
Okay.
So obviously it was close. I mean, Richard Petty. I mean, God, there's so many Richard Petty on here when you're scrolling down.
Seven of them.
Yarborough won an 83, 84 back to back. And, I didn't realize. Well, first of all, I didn't realize Ernie Irvin ever won the Daytona 500.
Mhm.
Didn't realize that. Apparently, the Kodak car was just a missile on speedway races.
Yeah, they had.
Because Sterling Marlin won in 94 and 95 back to back.
That was the Morgan McClure car, and they had a different exhaust system on the thing, and I don't know if it actually made any more power, but the thing sounded like a freaking Indy car going around there. That thing was fast.
Yep. So nobody has won back to back, back to back to back. So nobody's ever won three in a row. Pretty crazy. William Byron's definitely got a shot to do it this year. But let's get into our NASCAR fantasy lineups. Since you are the defending champion in NASCAR fantasy, go ahead and give your picks because you won the playoffs. So you won the technical.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, what?
That you won the technical championship. So somehow. But yeah, here you go. Here's your NASCAR fantasy. Go through it.
So in my 5 starters, there you go. So like I said, I mean, some of them are big names, but maybe not who you think of. So I do have Kyle Busch, Bubba Wallace, Alex Bowman, Ryan Preece got a lot of momentum going. I got to throw him in there. I think the Fords are going to be fast. Austin Cindric's always good on these tracks. And I put Keselowski in my garage because I'm not 100% sure how he's going to feel, but I think if he runs the whole race and is there, I think there's a good chance you see me move him out of my garage into my top 5. So in my head-to-head matchups, Kyle Larson versus Denny Hamlin. I have Denny Hamlin on this one. I am not jinxing Kyle Larson whatsoever. Ryan Blaney and William Byron, that was probably the toughest of them all. Got to go with 2-time defending champ William Byron on that one. Kyle Busch and Chase Elliott, being I got Kyle in my lineup, I got to go with Kyle. And Bubba Wallace and Ryan Preece. Bubba is always at the end of these big races like that. So I'm going to go with Bubba Wallace on that one.
He's finished runner-up twice.
Yep.
All right, here's my NASCAR fantasy lineup. It's similar to yours. So I do have Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski coming back from his injury, and Ryan Blaney, of course. I'm going to put him in there. I think Penske's going to look good, and I say this a lot, but I really think they've got a shot to dominate the Daytona 500. I've got Austin Cindric in there. William Byron's hard not to put the 24 in there, and Bubba Wallace is in my garage for just in case somebody wants to catastrophically get destroyed in the race. Larson versus Denny, of course, I'm not going Kyle Larson. That's not going to happen. If that's the price I need to pay for him to do well in this race, so be it. You know what will probably happen is both of them will end up wrecking, and somehow Larson will finish 34th and Denny will be 35th.
Yeah.
That would really be terrible. Ryan Blaney versus William Byron. Both are in my lineup, but I've got Ryan Blaney in this one. Kyle Busch versus Chase. I have Kyle in this one. And Bubba Wallace over Ryan Preece as well. So it is finally time to give our first of the year, first race picks to win. So who do you have winning the 2026 Daytona 500?
Got a brand new Daytona 500 champion. in his 21st year trying, Kyle Busch gets it done this year. After having an abysmal year, starts off high note.
I think I picked him.
Mom's pick, 3 in a row, William Byron.
Well, I've got a new driver this year too. I actually picked him for the Clash, and it wasn't fair. Our picks for the Clash were not bad at all. Byron and Blaney looked pretty good at the Clash.
Yeah, what did we get? Second and third or something like
Yeah,
that?
we kind of know what we're talking about. It looks like.
Sure. Yeah.
So I picked him for the Clash. It almost worked out. I think the Fords are going to be so good. Brand new dad, sick ass mustache. I have Ryan Blaney to win the 2026 Daytona 500.
Mr. Whiskers.
All right. Well, I think that does it for this week. We gave our picks and everything. So, yeah. Friday, Saturday, Sunday is 3 big races. Tony Stewart's back in the Truck Series racing for Ram.
If you have not seen Tony Stewart's truck, that thing's badass. It says something about the smoke show on the side of the truck. That's going to be pretty cool. That's Friday night. Friend of the show, Caleb Costner, is going to be running the truck race. Tune in
and ARCA.
See how Caleb does. Good luck to him.
I think he's racing ARCA as well.
Yep. And it is going to rain on Sunday.
Well, they can always keep pushing it back until a surprise is going to rain. I ain't going to be there.
Well, if they don't move it up, they're not going to race Sunday. It's coming in 2-3 o'clock, and it's rest of the day. They're not going to get that one in later.
Well, on a positive note, I'm off on Monday, so if they want to move it to Monday, that's cool.
So we're in a severe drought in Florida. So guaranteed way to get out of the drought, schedule a NASCAR race.
Seems like it.
Yep.
Seems like it. Here, I'm going to put up Tony's truck right here. So everybody can see real quick.
If you didn't know, he's running for, well, I don't want to say Dodge because it's technically Ram, but
yeah, it's Spire. Oh, Colleague.
Yeah, I'd still like to know who's building the engines for that thing.
That one right there.
Yeah,
that's pretty sick.
I think Tony's going to run well if he stays out of trouble against those guys.
If he just has a good qualifying run, he just needs to kind of just coast in the front because there's going to be crashes.
Yeah. Oh, there's going to be crashes.
But we'll see what happens. Expect the unexpected Daytona, like we always say.
Yeah. Looking forward to it. So we got
I'm not going to give a championship pick until the chase starts. It's pointless to give a championship pick at this point. I'm not even going to go any bold predictions this year. I did get the bold prediction right last year, though. The Final Four did not have a Ford.
Well, you kind of had a bold prediction. You said Connor Zillage is probably going to win a couple of races this year.
I don't know how bold that is. I don't know how bold that is. I would be shocked if he does not win a couple races this year.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that does it for this week, guys. Like I said, make sure you just share, follow, and all that stuff. We'll get some guests back on it starting again next week once we get the scheduling stuff worked out a little bit better. And see you guys then.
All right. Bye, everybody.